Hey everybody, welcome and what's up? This is your host KevinBRPG, and today we are going to be watching Screw Attack's Death Battle. Joker versus Sweet Tooth, the battle of the killer clowns. Now, we haven't done a reaction video in a while, so hopefully this will be pretty interesting and hopefully this won't be as tame or as boring as the last video, so yeah. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to skip all the intros and let the video speak for itself. There's probably going to be some parts that are going to be cut out, due to copyright purposes, but keep in mind that this is a reaction video. I'm not trying to claim any ownership or anything like that. I'm just watching this and going to be giving my opinion. Also, I've been anxious for this. Personally, I believe Joker's going to win this, but we'll see what each fighter has to offer. So, here we go with the intro of the clowns.
They visit you for birthday parties, cheer you up when you're sad, and probably also want to kill you.
Clowns. The Joker, Gotham's jester of genocide.
And Sweet Tooth, the violent victor of twisted metal.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
This should be good.
Gotham City, a vile breeding ground for criminals and crazy people.
In such a bleak city, it's important to look for humor wherever you can, even if it's during the act of murder. And no one gets more jollies out of ruthless felonies than the Joker.
I'm here, bitches! And I brought favors for everybody!
But before he became the clown prince of crime, who was he? A thief who accidentally got his pregnant wife killed? A mob boss who stabbed Batman's girlfriend? A petty thug in the wrong place at the wrong time? Nobody knows for sure, not even the Joker himself.
What we do know is that most likely at some point he fell into a vat of mysterious chemicals and Batman was involved. However he came to be, from that moment on, his body and mind were altered forever.
Altered? Just snapped.
With a new smile big enough to rival the Grinch, the Joker decided he'd make sure the whole world would share in his sick joke.
And what comedy act would be complete without a few wonderful toys?
This guy may like his pistols, machine guns, and explosives, but outside of that, his taste in weaponry is anything but simple.
Ow! My eye! Sucker!
Like a true prankster gone mad, he carries razor-sharp playing cards, a gag flower filled with acid, an electric hand buzzer that goes a little too far.
But deadliest and most haunting of all is his trademark Joker venom, a deadly concoction which poisons its victims, forcing them into fits of laughter so uncontrollable that they suffocate and die while contorting their facial muscles into a nightmarish grin.
Talk about killing the audience! Ha ha ha! Oh! Man, that shit looks dangerous to carry around.
Fortunately for the creepy clown, he's manufactured so much Joker venom over the years, repeated exposure has given him immunity to his own toxin. But the laughing gas isn't all that makes him a threat in battle.
I gotta pause right there. I know that part of the clip, and I've seen what happened. He had nose filters in that flick. If you haven't seen that movie, moving on.
It's gone.
He's a cunning strategist who screws with the minds of the
Ledger.
sane and insane alike. He can whip up disguises so convincing that not even the world's greatest detective recognized him. And for a guy this lanky, he's also surprisingly great going fist to fist.
And like most heroes and villains who have been in the game since the 1940s, of course, he has his own car.
Look at that thing! God, I really need to get back to work on the Boomstick Mobile.
The Joker Mobile, as it's called, was built to compete with the legendary Batmobile.
It has mounted machine guns, a bulletproof exterior, and a lethal cannon up top that can spew missiles everywhere.
Is this a sign
After
that they're
so
going to be
many
having a
years
car
of
battle?
terrorizing Gotham and beyond, the Joker has more than earned his role of sworn enemy to the Batman. Despite Batman's ludicrous skill and intellect, the Joker's forethought and planning has outsmarted Bats numerous times. In some cases, he's even gone hand-to-hand and held his own with the Caped Crusader.
Who was trained by ninjas?
He's outfoxed plenty of other heroes too, including Superman, whose brain can function thousands of times faster than humans like Joker.
He incapacitated Wonder Woman with just a puff of Joker venom, blew up Robin after viciously beating him with a crowbar, and when he tracked down Batgirl, well, let's put it nicely and say that she became handy-capable from that point on. And thanks to his own insanity, the Joker has stupidly high pain tolerance. The dude got a batarang lodged in his eye and was still running around laughing and shooting people. God damn! That's almost as bad as the time he had his own face cut off for giggles.
That's way worse! Ugh. He can certainly take the pain, but this sadistic psychopath is still no harder to kill than most of his victims.
He can die from certain poisons, neck snapping, being stabbed by Pirate Batman, getting bitten by Vampire Batman, and even just a good old-fashioned Superman high five.
But one thing remains certain. Having this clown show up for your party would make it one bad day.
That's an understatement. Oh, and here we go.
How
with the
far would
darker
you go
one.
to have your greatest
Or
wish
is he?
granted? How much would you destroy to get your way?
Any extreme!
Any
For
means
those
necessary.
willing to go to any extreme, the annual Twisted Metal contest is right up your alley.
In Twisted Metal, competitors smash vehicles into public property and each other, and that's when they're not shooting crazy shit like rockets and bombs all over the place. God, that'd be fun.
You know, I gotta admit, I gotta play Twisted Metal now after this. If I can find it on Steam, that's gonna be one of my next objectives. I got a whole list of other games to play for the future, but only for when I get the time and the free area to do it. Anyways, moving along, I'm starting to ramble here. I'm sorry.
The insane lure of Twisted Metal attracts some of the most deranged and unstable minds in the world, including a clown with a flaming scalp, the driver of the infamous ice cream truck called Sweet Tooth.
Light 'em up, boys.
Before he was a scary serial killer driving a truck, Marcus Kane was a scary ice cream man driving a truck. And like every ice cream man I know, Marcus had a serious evil split personality problem.
Trapped within his head, this sinister side desperately clawed for freedom, eventually forcing Marcus to finally give in and carve his new persona a face. On that day, Marcus Kane died, and the rampage of Needles Kane began.
Needles spent his days murdering anyone he could find, including his own wife and child.
He prefers killing up close and as violently as possible with his giant serrated machete.
Which tons of people have been introduced to. They're dead now.
By his own account, he slaughtered 1,000 people before he was finally arrested. It was here he was cursed by a preacher named Preacher to suffer the fires of hell, which apparently means having your head burst into flames forever.
Enraged, he busted out and was eventually found by a man named Calypso. See, Calypso was the one organizing the Twisted Metal tournament, and he thought Needles would be just perfect for it.
For Needles, winning Twisted Metal meant having any wish of his choosing granted. He could finally end the everlasting pain. Or have all the candy in the world, anything really. How could he say no?
Needles knew just a car that would take him to victory. Complete with tasty treats, his ice cream truck, the Sweet Tooth.
This modified Chevrolet step van is anything but what it appears to be. With its shocking maneuverability and durability, Sweet Tooth is like a tank, capable of taking loads of damage without stopping.
The Sweet Tooth menu includes front-mounted spikes, Gatling guns, and homing ice cream cone missiles. And for the cherry on top, he blasts the explosive clown head from the roof as a homing weapon, which laughs and goes through walls. That's not enough, it transforms into a goddamn robot.
The Sweet Bot carries a massive multi-barrel Gatling gun, reinforced armor plating, and can even throw its own head like a grenade.
But the real beauty's in the Sweet Slam, an attack where the bot launches into the air with its jetpack and drops like a hammer with enough force to crush a whole building.
Sweet Tooth can take dozens of missiles and keep on trucking. But even without his wheels, Needles is one tough son of a bitch. He's strong enough to casually shatter reinforced windows, tough enough to take a stab to the face.
And he even survived the electric chair. Doesn't that mean he gets to walk free? I read that on the internet once.
No, first, that's a myth. Second, a person wouldn't be able to walk after getting blasted with over 2,000 volts of electricity, stopping their heart, burning their body, paralyzing their muscles, and melting their eyes. Unless you're Needles Kane, who broke out of the chair, killed everyone, and escaped.
See, this is why anytime I meet a clown, I take him out right away.
When has a clown ever done anything to you?
They've never had the chance. Who's laughing now, Chuggles?
But Needles is by no means unkillable, and Calypso has played him for a fool more times than not. Like when he wished to find his missing daughter so he could kill her, and wound up trapped and suffocating in her coffin. Underground. Because she was already dead.
Still, it just goes to show Needles and his sweet tooth will do anything it takes to get the kill.
What have you done with my son?
Fucking clowns.
Alright, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
Alright, so we pretty much had our reviews, and this is what I'm going to be predicting. Unless the Joker can somehow get Sweet Tooth out of his truck, then his only chance would be his Joker-mobile to be able to take it on, and even if that survives the robot, you know, it's a toss-up. It's either Sweet Tooth could get the upper hand by his truck, but if he loses his truck, then it's all Joker from there. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can guess and predict. So without further ado,
But first, it's time for some book learning.
oh,
You know,
ads.
reading